What's up, ACL Nation? We are going to be talking about the 2021 ACL Cornhole Mania, jump through a little bit of a preview, see who some of my players to watch are for the big weekend coming up in a couple weeks. And we're also going to welcome number 5 ranked player in the world, Kamryn Belvin, to the show. This is the ACL Throwdown. As I said, we are going to have Kamryn Belvin on the show this week to chat about her big start to the season back in the 2021 kickoff battle in February. But first, my hashtag, Trey's Takes. And this week we have to preview the 2021 ACL Cornhole Mania. Next week we'll dive through all the details, the broadcast details, how you can tune in, where to watch, all of those details. But first this week, let's dive in a little bit, scratch the surface a little bit on some of these players that we need to be watching for. Just like last time, the 3 main events, pro singles, pro doubles, and pro women's doubles will headline the weekend. Starting with women's doubles, look no further than Cheyenne Renner and Sarah Cassidy. 2 straight wins now, dating back to the 2020 ACL World Championships, where they became women's doubles world champions at that event. They followed that up at the 2021 ACL kickoff battle with a win in women's doubles. And, really it's about who can dethrone them. Cheyenne Renner is absolutely killing it on the front when it comes to her statistics, not only in women's doubles, but in all the events. She's top 10 right now in points per round across the entire pro division. She's really, really tough competitor to compete against, so I'm looking for her to have another strong finish. Maya Cup and Allison Peters, who gave it everything they could, made it all the way through the winner's bracket, got double dipped at the end at the kickoff battle. They're certainly going to be in the run there. Courtney Coy and Christine Papke, as well as my guest today, Kamryn Belvin, alongside Allison Hine. 2 teams that did okay in women's doubles at that first event, but I know they're looking to have a little bit of a resurgence and come back and get the win. Rosie Streaker and Sam Finley go 0-2 at the first event, which was a shocker to everybody. I'm looking for them to bounce back at the Cornhole Mania and make a strong run. So check out those teams. I'm excited to see how women's doubles plays out at the Cornhole Mania. On to pro doubles, and there's many different teams. You got to start at least with Jordan Kamba and James Baldwin. In doubles as a team, both players in the top 4 as far as points per round. An unbelievable stat when you consider most of the time when you think James Baldwin and Jordan Kamba, you're thinking airmails and push shots, but not in this case. When we look at doubles, like I said, both in the top 4, a 10.06 points per round by Jordan Kamba and then a 10.02 by James Baldwin. Both above that 10 slot tells you that they were absolutely on fire at the kickoff battle. I look for them to continue to be that good, but at the same time, it's tough to maintain that level of pace. But they're going to do their best to try it. I usually don't peg them as an early season type of team, but who knows? 3 other teams I really am looking forward to seeing: Noah Wooten and Matthew Sorrells. Noah Wooten putting on an MVP caliber season already. He's top 3 in both singles and doubles, which is incredible. Jimmy Mcguffin and Greg Geary always near the top 2020 team of the year. Jimmy Mcguffin also in that top 5 in pro singles. I'm really impressed with what I'm seeing on the singles front from Jimmy Mcguffin. I'm high on him going into this event. Another team, though, that you cannot forget about, Kyle Malone, Dalton McClem. Did not compete together. Dalton McClem not competing at that first event, but they are paired up. They are back, ladies and gentlemen. We only had 2 nationals last season. McClem and Malone won both of them. So when we get to these big events, they just flat out show up. So you have to peg them as a favorite going into this event, and I look for them to have a really strong start. Now they're together for the rest of the season. Moving on to pro singles. Pro singles, again, this is always a toss-up. Damon Dennis certainly has to be at the top of everyone's list, just because he's been the hottest. He just came off of a big win at the kickoff battle, and he'll be looking to do that again. But here's the craziest stat. When you look at differential per round, or DPR, Damon Dennis got a 1.07 average differential, okay? Second place was 0.77, and that was none other than Mr. Bill Smith out of Florida. So 1.07 to 0.77, that is a gap of 0.3 points per round between first and second. If I took that same differential after second place, you would land at 21st place. Meaning, ladies and gentlemen, there's a bigger gap between first and second place than there is between second and 20th place when it comes to differential per round. That shows you how badly Damon Dennis was beating up on the opponents that he played all weekend long. Gonna be tough to match that performance. Matt Guy, Jamie Graham, two players obviously in doubles will be there as well. But you got to think they'll be raring to go. The bags are they got it going now because both of them have won conference singles events since competing at the kickoff battle back in January. They'll be ready to go. Cody Henderson is going to be ready to go. He's coming off a second place finish. He's always out there near the top. So going to be a long list of players that are going to be ready to go, ready to compete, and ready to challenge Damon Dennis for that #1 spot. Tons of action. We're just over a week away from that 2021 ACL Cornhole Mania in Wichita, Kansas. Stay tuned next week for all of the live coverage, live stream details. You can tune in on our ACL digital network, get that membership at watch.iplayacl.com, and get set up for an incredible weekend of cornhole. Let's get to my conversation with Kamryn Belvin as she sits #5 in the world in singles. See how excited she is of her finish and how excited she is to be going the rest of this season as a top player in the world. ACL Nation, I have top 5 player in the world right now, none other than Miss Kamryn Belvin. Kamryn, first impression before we get into it. When I say top 5 player in the world, is that crazy or what? Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Especially to be a female.
Especially to be a female. I was going to bring that up kind of later, but let's just bring it forward here. I mean, when we talk about cornhole being a game that it's anybody can play, anybody can win, and I think that's what's special about our sport is it can be a co-ed sport. And what does it mean to you to be, a top female in the top 5 in the world? I mean, obviously that's got to be an accomplishment, but what does it mean to you?
It means a whole lot because not many females in an open with men and women come to the top. And like winning Florida singles as the first female, that was a huge kick in the butt for me. Like, okay, you can do this. And then now being top 5, and it just shows that the women can do this. And I can't wait for the day an actual female wins either a national or a world, whatever. I can't wait for that day.
I can't wait for it either. I mean, you just keep elevating the bar for yourself. You're like, all right, 2019 women's singles world champion. I mean, that's okay. I guess now I'll just go ahead and win an advanced singles national. So that's not good enough. Now I'm gonna be top 5 in the pro division. So obviously we couldn't root for you any more than we are. I mean, we love to see that. So kind of rewinding a little bit, going back to the national. One thing that it was crazy if we're going back to some of the games, your game against Brevin in the winners bracket final, it was like you went up 15-0, and then you let them score 18 straight, and then you scored 6 to win or something like that. What was it like playing in a game like that?
Well, at first I was like, oh my gosh, it was 16-0. I was like, all I need is 5 more points, and I just this guy 21-0 in the winners final. And then I think I got a little too comfortable. Mm-hmm. And he got that first bag, and he was putting it to me, and I was like, oh Lord, I need to do something. And then thank goodness I finally ended it. But
yeah, but hey, I mean, you got the win. You advanced to the finals of your bracket. Unfortunately, you ran into the flamethrower that was Damon Dennis. I thought both games you put up a big fight. I got to ask you, have you wrote a complaint letter to Frank Modlin yet for those game changers bunching up on that one shot?
Oh, he comes to our regionals a lot, and I think I've told him 3 times. I'm like, really, Frank? Really? I was like, bro, I looked at you, but you're lucky you weren't looking.
I thought, but you put up an incredible effort in that, and I think it was just a case of Damon was so tough. You had a lot of breaks, but for the most part, I mean, looking at your performance in that nationally, you got to be overall thrilled, no?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm happy with what I did. It's just I made it that far, and I'm like, what if I don't get that far again and I lost?
Hey, when it comes to your talent, I know there's going to be another time. So we're rooting for you to get right back there. On to the women's side, playing this year, playing alongside Allison Hine, and just out of the gate, what's it like playing with Allison? What makes that partnership, or what made that partnership come together, and why you guys think you'll be a successful team this year?
Well, Allison, she's really supportive of me, and actually, when I was playing with Brendan or whoever, as soon as she showed up and started watching me, I started losing, and she was like, "All right, I have to get out of here." But playing with Allison is a lot of fun, and she's highly supportive of me, and we connect. Other than Florida National was, first national playing together, it was a little iffy, but I think we're gonna do a lot better on the next one. So
yeah, I think you guys will. You ladies really have a chance to get some big wins this year, and so I'm looking forward to watching it. You guys are a fun pair to watch, certainly. And so as we look forward for the rest of the year, obviously there's women's doubles. You looking at the shootouts, there's some women's singles. Obviously, we have the World Championships where you're going to have women's singles. Traditional women's singles, you have pro singles, pro doubles. I mean, so many different events for you to play in. When you try to put together kind of a list of goals or things that you really want to accomplish, what stands out as something at the top of the list?
Now that I did so well in singles, I want to win a singles. Obviously, probably won't happen this year, but
why not?
Goal, because just for females to be up there, but definitely winning this women's shootout would be a very plus.
That'd be a nice 20 grand check or 25 grand check to the winner. I think that would be a nice check to cash.
Yeah.
But you had like I said, incredible start to the year. You had an incredible past couple years. Excited to have you in the pro division. First year ACL pro, Kamryn Belvin. Kamryn, thanks for chatting with me. Good luck the rest of the year. You don't need much luck, but I will continue to wish you luck, and hopefully you have as successful a year as you possibly can.
Thank you.
Kamryn Belvin, one of the top female players in the world, but obviously just one of the top players in the world. I love that we no longer really have to justify that and have to preface that with female players. She really is at the top of her game and can compete with anybody in the country. Thank you, Kamryn, for chatting with me this week. The Open events, if you want to get registered, Quad Cities, the Quad Cities Open registration for Platinum members is open. Today is the last day, and then it opens to the general public tomorrow for Gold members. So if you are looking to get into that Open event, make sure you get registered ASAP. Registration for the Louisville, Kentucky Open will open shortly over the next few days. So check it out. Go to iPlayACL.com. Click on the news tab. Keep up with all the recent opens as far as all of the details. That's all the time that we got this week for the American Cornhole League. This has been your host, Trey Ryder. We'll see you guys next week.